What's up, everybody? It's Dan from Binder Boneyard. I'm doing a video today about setting glass in the door tracks. This is a video I've been meaning to make for a long time. Had quite a few people ask me how you do it, because you definitely do not want to glue the glass into the tracks. That's how you ruin tracks in the future. If your glass ever gets broken again, then you're stuck. So we're going to go over how to set glass in the door tracks that saves the tracks. So first thing is, it's very important to mark your track, mark the glass, so that you know which way it goes back together. Because once you pop the track off, sometimes it's really easy to second guess yourself and forget what's what. So this is a driver door, so got me a D. I mark them, how I can remember. So I've got front of door, rear of door. So I take my new piece of glass and I mark it the same way. Front, outside, which is confusing because it means it's pointing at me when it's in the door, which I know it's backwards, but that's how I remember it. So rear of door, front of door. So I mark the track the same way, driver's side, just so I know, and then front to front. So let's get that track off of there. It goes without saying that this old glass a lot of times is not safety glass. I mean, you can see it's broken a lot. So you probably should wear gloves when you're handling it. And then also probably going to want a little bit of iPro to get the track off. We use a special tool like this because you don't want to drive on the edge of the track and bend it up, and you don't want to use a chisel, and push in the center here, because you'll bend that. But this guy, you can lay it in that track and it spreads the load out, and then you can usually tap it. I'm not afraid of using a hammer, now, because it's already broken. So a lot of times it's kind of a tricky arrangement trying to hold it and drive the track off at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you'll need a little chemical help in there to break that bond a little bit, but we're going to try and drive it off dry. You want to avoid sticking screwdrivers and stuff down the edge of the tracks too, because you just don't want to break the track, because there are not a lot of them around. So you can see here that I broke my own rule by using some small chisels down the track. I was careful not to hurt the track, but it gave me enough space that I could get some WD-40 down in there to help break the bond, and then I was able to drive it off with my tool and get most of it out of there. So a lot of the rubber stayed on the glass, which is what you want. If a bunch of it sticks into the track, then it takes a long time to clean it all out. But remember, there's pieces of broken glass now stuck in here, so you got to be really careful. I've got chips of glass stuck around now. The only reason you're doing this is if your paint is still whole. A lot of you guys have windows long gone and you just have an empty track, and so we're going to clean up this track and then move on to setting it on the new glass. So after a wardrobe change, you're going to want the setting material. Some people call the shim stock. Some glass shops call it setting tape. It's a real rubbery, I'm not sure if it's asphalt or butyl or what it is, but you need some setting tape. It comes in different thicknesses. The stuff I had before, that's why I had to stop, because the shim stock I had already set aside was too thin. This is the 1/16 of an inch thick stock. The stuff I had before was too thin. If it's too thin, it won't fill the channel and it won't fit right. But so you get your stock, shim stock. You can measure it to the glass, or you can measure it to your track. Normally the glass is a little bit longer than the track, so I just cut it to the track. So cut that stuff out, fold it in half long ways, because it's going to get tucked into that channel. So you need to kind of pre-form it to that shape. If you just try and drive it in on the glass and hope that it bends it into a U, it's not going to work as well as you hoped. So fold it over. Get it set. Now the secret that makes this work is air tool oil. That's what, when you put it together, the air tool oil is what makes this rubber expand. And then it grabs a hold of everything. And then once the oil soaks in and it becomes part of the rubber, then it makes the rubber kind of gooey, and it'll grip that and it holds it in there. So the other thing you're going to need, a hammer that's a little less smashy. Rubber mallet works good. So yeah, so make sure that's right. So the best thing I can do is just to do this and let you watch. It's gonna make a mess, so make sure you have some rags. Put your oil in there. Make sure it's coated good all the way up the sides. It's running out on the glass. Put it on the glass. Stand her up here. You're gonna have lots of oil running down stuff, so make sure that you pay attention to the orientation of your track. Don't get sidetracked by this oil and goop and everything, and then stick your track on the wrong way. So our F to our F. Set her on there carefully. There, she just snapped down. Make sure she's good and snug. Now with all that oil in there, it's gonna move around, so don't be alarmed that it moves. Make sure it's down though. That looks good and down. So now what I'll do, now that I've got it down, is I will put it someplace safe, upright like this, so that gravity will hold it down, and it'll let that air tool oil swell up, and then it'll hold that glass in there. So if you're doing this kind of a project, you can't do it same day. You have to do this and then let it sit overnight, and then you can install it in the truck. Just out of safety, just to be safe. That way you don't mess something up. So there, we'll go put this thing out of the way. Sorry the video was so choppy. Got started on it and then realized I didn't have what I needed, and moving trucks in and out and jobs and stuff. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Please like, subscribe. You know, if there was anything I left out, just ask me in the comments. But you know, I think I forgot to mention that glass was for a C series truck or Travelall. That particular truck's for a 65 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive pickup. But yeah, so you know, the similar process for the D series glass and the 50s trucks use the same kind of method of holding them on. So hopefully that was a little bit informative and it made some sense and it helped you out some. So anyways, till next time, I'm Dan, Binder Boneyard.